Hi ladies, welcome to Chemistry 2. Sorry I'm not there to be there with you this week. I am hopefully at home by now on bed rest. As you are listening to this, it should be Wednesday of week 1. I had a hysterectomy and bladder repair done on Tuesday. So I'm definitely out of commission for weeks 1 and 2. Don't forget to sign up for the State Laboratory Conference for week 3, as you will have that in lieu of your chemistry lab. If you cannot make it, please contact me. I probably won't reply to email until week 2 because they're going to have me on a whole boatload of Percocet, and as much fun as it would be to deal with me on Percocet, it's probably not the best idea for me to work in that situation. But by week 2, my plan is to come back 100% online. We will see how bad off I am. So I wanted to give you guys some information from me. You have Leah for a sub. She's fantastic. But when it comes to spectrophotometers, she's a nurse. Nurses don't use spectrophotometers. So I will go over your lab with you online quick. And you guys know where all the supplies are to help her get those out and get through a spectrophotometer lab. But first, before I go over that, Lena's handing this out. This is in Module 1 of Chemistry 2. You absolutely have to watch my videos. You have to take notes on them. I give you hints and clues sometimes as to things you need to know. Note on the top of this, I put make note cards out of this today or you will fall behind. 4 chapters this week, okay? Hemoglobin and porphyrias, trace elements, therapeutic drug monitoring, and toxicology. If you don't make flashcards and study them every day, you will not do well on next week's quiz. Adding 2 more chapters on next week. 2 more chapters on the following week. That's 8 chapters of material for your Module 1 test. You cannot cram for that, okay? You have to get a 73% in this class and a 73% on the final. This class incorporates everything from Chemistry 1 and Chemistry 2. This is totally doable. And I will give you all of the information that you need to be successful, but you have to meet me halfway. You have to make note cards. You have to look at them at least once every day. I'm not saying you have to spend 4 hours every day studying, although if you do, it'll help you. But make sure that you make flashcards out of this or note cards and look at them once a day. Look through the material just once a day. Even if it's while you're brushing your teeth, putting your makeup on in the bathroom, it doesn't matter. Look at it. Okay, look at it while you're picking your kids up from school. You're waiting, something like that. Just keep them with you, okay? All right, so got that? Everybody sees this? See? Leah's going to give this to you. You're going to stay till at least, what time's class done? 2 o'clock? This is what you're going to work on till at least 2 o'clock or longer, okay? All right, let's move on to your lab. Today you're going to be doing the iron lab. There is an iron and iron binding part of this, but I'm just going to have you do the first part, okay? So, hold on, I got a bunch of stuff over here. When you look at your lab, like so, there's 2 sections on here. Cross this one off, okay? Just do this one. I'm not here to help you with the calculations and the complexity of this, so I don't want you to do this. Okay, it's not going to help you or hurt you if you do it or not. So this you can delete out of your lab report. This section though, you do have to do. Okay, so just delete this. All right, so let's talk about what it is that you're going to do with this spec lab. I'm going to kind of run through it like I do with all the other ones. Okay, so I'm going to take this away from you and start drawing some pictures, but I'm going to be following mostly what you have in the middle right here. Remember, we are not doing this part, okay? Okay, so the test procedure, please take note, it doesn't say 1 mil. All of the other ones we've done in the past have 1 mil here. It also doesn't say 10 microliters, it's 300 microliters. So we've got 2,300 microliters and 300 microliters. Okay, you following me? You're going to have to do some handy-dandy pipetting skills today, girls. You're not going to be able to use all of those wonderful MLA micropipetters. okay? So I'm going to go ahead and draw each test tube and what you're going to put in each one, okay? So follow along. All right, so you're going to get all of your things ready. Oh, sorry, that looks blurry. Come on. Focus. Focus. Oh, don't do this to me. Okay, that looks better. Okay, so you are going to have a reagent blank, a standard, QC1, QC2, and an unknown. Okay? So here's each of your test tubes. Reagent blank, standard, QC1, QC2, and John Doe or unknown, whatever you want to call them. So you have your 5 test tubes all set up in a rack. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Following me? All right. So here's your reagent blank. Notice it's a reagent blank, not water. We've got a standard, QC1, QC2, and your unknown, who might be John Doe, whatever Leah decided to call them. Okay, so we're going to add certain things to each of our tubes, right? So I'm going to try and freehand as best I can everything that you're going to be adding. So you're going to have some reagents in front of you. Notice there's more in the box than you're going to need. Leah's just going to grab the box out of the refrigerator for you and put it on the table, but you don't need all of it because we're not doing the second part. Okay, this is what you're going to need. Make sure you put the one away that you're not going to use. You grab the wrong one, it's not going to work. All right, so pardon my horrible artistic abilities here. The first thing you're going to add is iron HA buffer. I'm just going to put buffer here, okay? You need to add 2.3 mils to every single tube. I want you to use a serological pipette for that, okay? That is the long blue one, okay? You're going to have to go up to the 2 mil mark plus 3 more little marks, okay? So every single person here gets 2.3 mils, which is the same as 2,300 microliters. Okay, so make sure you use that long pipette with the bulb. Okay, all right, then every single tube is going, or sorry, I lied. The reagent blank is going to get distilled water, 300 microliters. Okay, so you're going to need a little cup of water. And the only guy that gets that is your blank. Okay, he's done. He gets nothing else. Okay, then you're going to have your standard. I told Leah that does not mean STD, as in sexually transmitted disease. That one goes in your standard tube, so 300 microliters. Now you may be asking yourself, how am I going to measure out 300 microliters? We don't have a 300 microliter pipette. I recommend using, gosh, this is tough, probably the 100 3 times, okay, or the 250 and a 50, something like that. Whatever floats your boat. But again, you want to make sure you grab a new tip every time you go in there. Make sure you're rinsing your tip out in your solution. Okay, the next one is you're going to have in front of you is QC1. You're going to add 300 microliters of that to QC1. You're going to have QC2. You're going to add 300 microliters of that to QC2. And then you're going to have your unknown. Okay, you're going to add 300 microliters of that to your unknown tube. So as you can see, if you go down your reagent blank, he gets 2.3 mils of the iron buffer and 300 microliters of water. Standard gets 2.3 of that, 300 is standard. Okay, so there's 2 things being added to every tube. So hopefully, if you haven't yet, somebody runs over and turns on the spectrophotometer because it needs to warm up for about 15 minutes. Hopefully your QC is out and thawing. All right. So with this, you're going to have your tubes. The next thing it says, step 2, okay, I'm right here. Incubate for 1 minute at room temperature. The next thing you're going to do is measure the absorbance of all of this at 560 nanometers. Okay, so make sure somebody set the spec to that. So on your lab, I want to take where you put your absorbance. Oh, I'm a mess. I'm trying to look at the screen and do this at the same time. On your chart, divide the absorbance section into 2 columns. Okay, so here's where your absorbance is written down, and then you've got your answer over here, and what it is over here, you know, your second chart. Why don't I just show you? Take this right here and divide it in half, and take absorbance 1 and absorbance 2. Okay? All right, so that's what I was getting at. So what you're going to do, since you're going to have absorbance 1 and absorbance 2, is you are going to write down the first absorbance for all of these. Okay, so you're going to have a standard, QC1, QC2, and unknown. Okay, you're going to let that sit for a minute, and you're going to take those readings at 560 nanometers after you blank it with reagent blank. Okay, so you can put the blank in there, set it to 0, then take all of these readings. Okay, don't forget, Jen, push the code button or whatever to get to absorbance. Don't do it on transmittance. I figured you guys made that mistake last time. You wouldn't let that happen again. So make sure it's on absorbance, 0 it with your reagent blank, and take your 4 readings. Follow me? Okay. Hopefully you all said yes, because I can't see you. Hopefully I am out cold as you are doing this. All right. So the part 2, okay, so not really part 2. I am on number 4. Add 100 microliters of iron color reagent to each one. Mix well and incubate for 10 minutes at 37 degrees. So you know where your 37 degree heat block is. Okay, put all your tubes in there. Set your timer for 10 minutes. Again, you are going to 0 out your spectrophotometer with the blank, because you're going to add the 100 microliters to everything, including your blank. Okay, 100 microliters goes in every single tube. All right. Mix it well with your vortexer, stick it in the block for 10 minutes. You're going to take another reading, so you're going to blank your spectrophotometer with the reagent blank, and then you're going to take absorbance reading 2 for all of those. Okay, so you're going to have 2 absorbance readings for each sample. Okay? Got me? Okay. Now, I am going to figure out the serum iron, which is this calculation on the top right-hand side. This is the only one we're doing. Okay, so this is fairly easy to follow. So what you're going to do for each thing, for QC1, QC2, and your unknown, is follow that calculation. The calculation is the absorbance of reading number 2, see, unknown, reading number 2 minus, I'm going to run out of space. Forget I did that. I'm going to put it down here. Okay, so the absorbance of unknown reading number 2 minus the absorbance of unknown reading number 1 divided by the absorbance of standard reading number 2 minus the absorbance of standard reading number 1. Figure that out, okay? Subtract them, then divide them, and multiply by 500. And that is your iron answer. Okay? So you're going to have to do this for unknown, or sorry, gosh, QC1, QC2, and your unknown. Okay? And that's how you're going to get your 3 answers. Okay, so let's say you've done this. Hopefully you can go back, and I will leave this like so. And if you want, Leah can come back to this point and pause it so you have this up on the screen, and it maybe will help you. I don't know. It's kind of chicken scratch, but it's better than nothing. Also, she gave you the QC handouts, if I don't jumble them all together as I'm sitting here doing this. So you guys will have your own copy of this now. So you can go to, let's see, this one says Certify Level 2, and you can go to Iron over here, find your iron lab, follow it across, and right here is what Certified Level 2 should be, 203 to 305. So you have these for both levels, Level 1, Level 2. So you can hang on to those and use those to see if your QC worked. Now, let's say your QC didn't work. You guys know I'm not cruel. I don't take off a ton of points. But what I want you to do is discuss why that may have happened. Think about it. Did you use tap water instead of distilled water? How much iron is there in your tap water? Okay. Did somebody wash out your equipment with tap water? Okay. So if you're putting your DI water in something that was washed with tap water, you're going to have iron interference. So any type of iron interference you can think of. What about your pipetting technique? Okay. If you're using the 100 microliter pipette 3 times, it's going to be hard to be pretty perfect with that 300 microliters. Okay. So good luck, guys. I know you guys are totally capable of doing this. Leah's not going to be a whole lot of help when it comes to using that spec, so you guys have to rely on each other and your memory on exactly how the thing works. But hopefully I covered everything. If you have to go back and watch it again, that's okay. But I hope this helps you out. So go ahead and hand these in when you're done to the Dropbox in the lab. I will definitely be grading them week 2 as I anticipate feeling a little better by then. So I will talk to you guys later.